Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Wrestling Community Center's joint meeting of the Program Policy and Community Relations Committees. I'm Bill Bowie, and it's a pleasure to see community members. Which community members do we have here? Raise your hand. All right, thank you for coming. Thank you very much for coming. Board members and staff gathered here this evening. This evening's conversation builds directly on the community input we received from the February 9th meeting. If you were able to attend, if you were not, we've got plenty of notes for you on that. We'll talk about that today. We'll refer back to those today. We're grateful to everyone who took the time to share perspectives, their ideas, and their concerns. We take those very seriously, as PD would say in his evening on the stage, and we want to hear what you have to say. Your voices help shape the program, services, and policies that guide our Wrestling Community Center and ensure that what we do continues to reflect the values and the needs of the community that we serve. Tonight is about listening, responding, and continuing the dialogue. We will review the feedback that was gathered. We will discuss how it informs our work, and we will explore how we move forward together with new programs and services and offerings. And so with that, I'm done. And I'd like to introduce Shane, who is our chair.
Good evening. My name is Shane Ziegler, Chair of the Community Relations Committee. Community input and strong partnerships are at the heart of the Wrestling Community Center's mission. The ideas and perspectives shared by residents and community partners help guide our programs, priorities, and the impacts that we make together. When the community speaks and organizations work together, we amplify what RCC can do for Reston. Tonight is another opportunity to listen, reflect on the feedback we've received, and continue that collaboration. Thank you for being a part of it. And next up is Lisa.
Good evening. I'm glad everyone's here tonight. Good to see that you came out. My name is Lisa Seacrest-Earhart, and I'm the program chair of the policy committee. A big thing here, in my mind, big thing here at RCC. I want to thank all the community members and partners who came out last month and who spoke up, sharing your ideas and thoughts about the programs here at the Wrestling Community Center. It helps ensure that the programs that are offered at RCC continue to offer programs that reflect the interests as well as the needs of the community. I also want to recognize our staff who have done tremendous network and legwork since that meeting. So appreciate you. Let's give them a hand. And they've taken all the suggestions that we've heard, explored the feasibility, and have helped move the conversation towards a possible implementation. So that partnership between the community voices and our staff expertise is what keeps RCC programs vibrant and responsive. So we thank you all for being a part of this process, and we know there's a lot of work to be done tonight. So thank you very much. I'm going to hand it back over to Bebe.
Thanks, Elisa. Ben, so all I need to do is just hit enter, right? And it'll just move the slides forward.
Or the right arrow.
That.
There you go.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody showing up. I know it's a very beautiful day, so it's hard to be inside on a day like this. But compared to when we were here last, I think we take today. Any day, right? So thank you for taking the time to be here. I want to thank my board for their leadership and their dedication and their continued support of RCC and our community. And of course, I have the best staff ever because of all the ideas that you've given us. It took us 1 month, and actually I gave my staff even less time than that. PD pointed out, but they did a terrific job pulling everything together, and you're going to see how your ideas have been explored in the slide deck as I move forward. So if there's anything that you heard or there's more input that you've thought of since the last time that we convened, please feel free to bring it up when we take input at the end of the meeting as well. So here we go. So here's the agenda. We did the welcome. We're going to do responses to community input. I will go over the strategic plan timeline again, as well as the sample questions that we're considering right now, so that when you leave here, you would have some food for thought as you move into giving us back some ideas on the strategic planning process and the draft that we're going to be drafting by the end of the year. We'll be doing that sometime in the fall, so we'll have somewhat of a final product for the board to review and hone and sharpen and then adopt in January. All right, so we move into the partners' input that we gathered from last month, and this came from Western Association. Thank you, Laura. And you and Peter came and provided us with some really good ideas. So volunteer events collaboration, there's the Hunters Woods Cleanup Day and similar initiatives. We take a look at it and it's absolutely feasible. The estimated cost and timeline, as you see there, is going to be very soon. So there's a lot of ideas that came about that we're going to be implementing, and the conversations has already started immediately after the February 9th. So. Resident Association has already been partnering with us on the aquatics front and reinstituting, revamping our DEEP, the Drowning Education Awareness Program. And the estimated cost that our aquatics director has come up with is about $4,000 a year. And this has been on the strategic plan for a long time. Our board has been wanting our staff to pursue a Learn to Swim for community members for many years. So this is part of it's the land-based program, the drowning prevention program, but I think between RA and RCC, we can really make that a groundbreaking, trend-setting program in Reston. Eric, thank you for your input at the last meeting. Eric is the new executive director of YMCA, and he and I have had some one-on-ones, and he came to our meeting last month and wanted to explore instituting quarterly meetings, resource advocacy committees with RCC, RISTA, YMCA, and Reston Association, and that's something that's absolutely feasible, and we would like to launch that in the fall. He also brought up some new ideas for pickleball and paddle for Parkinson's, and that's a discussion that he will be having with our Leisure Learning Program Director and pending further review and development. It could launch as soon as the fall or possibly more likely in the winter, spring of next year. We also heard from Cornerstones. The Tutors on Wheels is something that is it's just an adapting a current program that we're already doing, tutoring, and we're just going to use our mobile van to take that out into the community. So absolutely feasible, and the cost is minimal to us. So we'll be looking to coordinate with Cornerstones and implement that immediately. Cornerstones also brought expanding children's summer programming into neighborhood parks. I think, Petey, you call it pocket parks, which I love. Yeah, and those are like the little pavilions that are sprinkled throughout Reston that I think we can take much more advantage, and having the partnership with Reston Association will allow us to do that. And the estimated cost is also very feasible and possible. Pilot could happen this summer, so stay tuned. Cornerstones want to expand swim lessons and fee waiver patrons and offer free swim options over the summer. And our aquatics director have looked into that. $720 per summer is totally doable, and we'll be launching it next summer. We heard from you that you wanted more youth program for ages 15 to 17, such as cooking in your dorm room, practical life skills, or cooking with limited equipment. I love that because, you know, I think I'm in a decluttering mode, so like less is more right now. And estimated cost from staff expiration is very doable, and we're looking to also launch that in the fall. We have a community member who wants us to explore a new grand piano at the Lake Ann facility. And I believe that the community member brought it to us because they have experienced some issues with the piano over there. And our staff, our arts and culture staff has already addressed those issues. We'll be monitoring and making sure that the repairs are done and maintenance is done routinely so that we can minimize those issues. So we won't be exploring a new grand piano because it's very, very expensive. But we will do much more intentional on the maintenance and repairs of the equipment. And these are the input that we got that are not feasible at this time and they're not currently under consideration. Is a request for a facility cafe, and the reasons that staff has explored is we have very limited facility space, and if we do that, we will be displacing our programs, and we would also be competing with local restaurants. So we want to minimize that. And you know, existing coffee services are already available every day in our building until 10 a.m. And we have very good options with the vending available. That's, if you don't know, if you go down towards the aquatic center, there's a couple of vending machines that also have good options for snacks and things. Caregiver support groups, we explore that, and there are multiple local organizations and county agencies that are already providing that service. To the extent that the RCC on Wheels, like the arts education program Unforgettable, that we've been taking arts into facilities, we will continue to do so. But being providing a caregiver support group is something that is not considered right now. As well as the warm water pool expansion idea. We just underwent a massive renovation in 2019 and opening the renovated pool in 2020 and then quickly shut down by COVID. And that was such a massive undertaking that we are not looking for any kind of renovations in the near term. And new areas of programming that's already in progress that I shared at the last meeting is RCC on Wheels, and how do we continue to integrate existing programs and just taking that out into the community. Sensory programs is something we're very passionate about, and our youth and teen department is looking into that. We implemented it kind of on a pilot at the MLK, especially for youth program, with a vendor that has been very well received, and that program, I think, is going to be here to stay. So we'll look more into sensory programs in the near future. And then I recently also participated in the South Lakes Pyramid Principals meetings, and we're going to be doing much more focused conversations on how to bring Learn to Swim programs into the elementary schools. And then this fall, please, I'm very excited about this, and the culinary series with a local Reston executive chef has worked at Michelin star restaurants is coming to provide those experiences with RCC, and that's going to be in a very special spread, right, Lorna, in the fall program. So please be on the lookout.
Will now.
Can't tell I'm a foodie, I like to eat, so culinary is right up my alley. And here are some of the strategic plan, the new strategic plan input that I will be soliciting from the public. These are sample survey questions. I'll be working with my accreditation compliance specialist, Brian Gannon, to create, I visualized two sets of questions, questions for two surveys. One specifically for our partners, There's a partners engagement event that I'll be hosting on April 2nd, and that will dive into more of an assessment of how our partnerships are working and what do we look towards in the next 5 years in terms of those partnerships. And as you know, partnership is a huge, to me, it's almost another line of programming for RCC. And so we want to make sure that we assess those and listen to our partners on how we're going to move forward in the next strategic plan. I won't read things out loud. I sort of snuck this in at the last minute, so you might not see it in your slide deck in front of you. But this will be posted on the website, so please look at it, check it out. And if you have input on any of these questions, I'm just going to read a couple, just as an example, how, let's see, which RCC programs or services provide the greatest value to the community today? What kind of spaces will the community need in the future that RCC could look to provide? If RCC could pilot one bold new idea or initiative, what should it be? Those are the kinds of questions that I think we would love to hear from you. So take a look at those sample questions. If you have input, please send it to rcccontact@fairfaxcounty.gov. That email address will be shared at the end of the presentation. And this was shared at the last meeting, but I just want to reiterate the timeline. Right now, we're starting to gather input for the community engagement part and the input into the new strategic plan. In April and August, as I said, there'll be a strategic partner engagement event, and then surveys will be finalized and distributed during the summer from May to the end of August. I think some of our concert series run into September, and those will be where we have a large captive audience. We'll be distributing, and Lorna, I'm sure her team will be helping me socialize those surveys far and wide into the community. September, we'll be starting to draft that strategic plan, review the strategic plan in the fall, and then review and adoption in January. And now we're into the community input. So if you have anything that you would like to share with us, for an individual, please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for organizations.
So I'm actually both. I'm the newly elected president of the Northern Virginia Return Peace Corps organization.
We need you on the mic. I can grab another one.
Yes, so my name is Kamina Mathur. I was recently elected as president of the Northern Virginia Return Peace Corps organization. And these are people who have served overseas and are now coming back and getting involved in community service in their local communities. So we have many ideas for different projects we'd like to do in our communities. And also I wanted to let you know, I moved here in 2023, and I started, I was one of the founders of the Rest in Town Center Social Squad, which was an effort to bring together people of the various condos so we got to know each other. So now one of the initiatives I'm working on is to have a community-based group that gets together on a regular basis. Basically, our mission is peace building and communication and bringing people together to basically discuss issues of concern and come together and listen to other people's point of view and try to build consensus of what we want to see our community as well as our country to look like. And I was wondering if we could work with you, maybe have space here, have some publicity, and try to get people together, because I firmly believe communication is the first step, getting together and talking about things of concern. And so this is a big push for me as president to get a really good community-based organization together where we meet on a regular basis. So I hope we can talk later on about that.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to us. And we definitely, let's chat afterwards, and I can share my contact with you, and we can start the conversation and partner. Thank you. name?
Yes. Hi, I'm Stephanie Vasquez. I actually grew up in Reston, and I worked here at the community center when I was a teenager. And I also was laid off last February as the whole government imploded, as I worked for a USAID-funded organization. We need to talk afterwards. And so I just was curious, though, like, is there space to help those that have been displaced, looking for new work, upskilling their abilities into new areas? I think Reston's quite unique. We got Google, Microsoft, all these private businesses. And so are you guys working to link into those businesses and provide space for people to upskill themselves in this environment? And is there an opportunity to support those that are looking to transition or pivot? And this could be a hub for those people that are looking for new work and could be linked into private sector that is.
I know that our communications team has socialized a lot of resources that the county has provided on that front. So we don't want to overlap or duplicate efforts where there's already resources out there. And Lorna, if you can connect with Ms. Vasquez to provide those resources. And if there are specific programs that you think is a good idea for us to look at, to explore and invest in, please, let us know. One program that we launched last year when, all these layoffs were happening was that any federal employees that participate in our programs, we have a fee waiver program that is specifically for federal workers who has been, been laid off. So please explore that and use that as much as possible while you're looking for new employment. Yeah, but we feel for you. It's been a tough year. Any other committee members, partners? Jean, please.
On Saturday, I went to the Lila Gordon Theater and I saw different ships, same boat?
Different ships, same boat.
What's your name?
Okay,
Who are
sorry.
you and where are you from?
Sorry, my name is Jean Chow and I am a community member. I live here and I work here as well. And I love our theater program. And on Saturday, free tickets were offered to employees. And I went there and I invited a friend. And there were a lot of empty seats. Is there any way we can offer, if the show is not sold out, can we offer them to the community for free the day before, the day of, so we can fill the seats and everyone can enjoy the show and get introduced to the theater program? I've lived here for a long time and I constantly tell my friends about the Lila Gordon Theater and RCC theater shows, and people still don't know about it, and I'm really surprised, and sometimes I even walk people through the door just to show them the stage. They're like, oh, I didn't know this was here. So I think it would be a great way to introduce people to our theater program if we can offer free tickets for not sold out shows just to our community. We did that we offered free tickets for YAT, Shakespeare's Got Talent, and they were up for grabs and a lot of people got those.
Well, our PD, our Arts and Culture Director is sitting right there and he's listening, and we will discuss and see what new ideas and creative ways that we can make sure those seats are filled and are enjoyed by our community members. Thank you, Jean.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Kowalski, and I'm the Recreation Services Director for Reston Association. So I just want to say thank you that Reston Association is excited to work on the aquatics program, DEEP, that was mentioned earlier this evening, programming our parks. We're excited that we can do a pilot this summer. So we have our teams get together, the volunteer cleanup, and in quarterly meetings, we're in. So just let us know. One thing I wanted to touch on was the swim lessons in schools collaboration. So we also are working on a summer school and pool program, and I think we may be able to have some lessons learned from our last few years of conducting that, and maybe make it seamless for schools to collaborate indoors and outdoors, and make it a nice transition for schools. Thank you so much for your partnership.
Thank you, Laura. I love that idea because, as you know, Reston Association has purview over a lot of the outdoor pools, and RCC has the indoor pool. So if we partner together, then there's kids that can be learning how to swim all year round. So very excited about that. Thank you. Any other community members? Hi, Eric.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Vanderpool. I'm the Vice President of Operations for the Reston YMCA. Thanks for everyone, thanks for everything, and thanks for all the community feedback. I mean, that's great. I mean, if we can, if we can really work together. I met with Kevin last week from RCC and really talked about, how we could really all come together and really learn a lot of different things. So the next thing is that we're all going to try to get together at the Y and bring both of our all three of our teams together and see if we can start making this more of like a monthly thing where we could all work together and really kind of just see, what are the gaps in the community, how can, the Y or RCC or RA really all work together to really kind of, fill these gaps, because that's really what the Y is all about. So looking very forward to that, and just the collaboration and the willingness to think about things differently, right? So looking forward to that. Thanks.
I'm so thrilled to see that both of our teams are going to be touring each other's facilities, because any programs that happens has to happen the right space, to scheduling, and there's a lot of logistical coordination that happens. So both of our staff team and the Y are scheduling to tour each other's spaces to see what is feasible. And so thank you so much, Eric, for your leadership.
Jennifer Juszczyk, a community member. I agree with your comments, and I would love to see even those partnership or monthly or quarterly meetings expanded, even to include like Kathy Hutchins Community Center staff, or maybe Mr. Bowie can help us get Fairfax County Park Authority staff to kind of all sit down, because like you said, programming has to have the right facilities and the right expertise. And I think that expertise lives in many different pockets within Reston. So figuring out which of the organizations is best equipped to do the programming, I think would be really helpful. And I was wondering, because I didn't see anything in the slide deck, if there was any discussion or talks about Performing Arts Center or the location at Lake Anne and its future, and if that's going to be part of some of the discussions of the strategic planning process going forward. Thanks.
RCC is in discussion with the Housing, Community and Development, HCD, and that's on the Crescent redevelopment project, and that's has been on our current strategic plan for the last 5 years. So facility expansion has been something that our board has pursued, and this is a great opportunity for partnership with HCD to really look at how we're going to be able to serve the community, specifically in Lake Anne. When we did the UVA survey, the community came out and really emphasized the need that we need to stay in that part of Reston. The next phase that have been shared with me is that they are going out to sort of put up the word out to see which developers are interested, and then winnowing that list down to just the ones that have specialty or the expertise that we need. And then RCC will be a part of that selection committee into the summer when they will select. But it's still very early on, so I will report back to the board and the future board meetings about the status of that. As well as in March, we have been exploring to see if we can tour some of the similar facilities in other communities that are online that the county has embarked on. So our board and some of our staff team will be able to look and explore ideas of how I wouldn't, we would bring it back to Reston and make sure that the needs of Reston, and not just, take whatever they got. But I think that's a very exciting next step that we're gonna explore. Anything else that I might have missed? Does that answer? Performing Arts Center is a very, very long way. There is a website that has sort of the status of what has been done thus far. And if you leave me your email address, I can send you that link and you can, but from our board and RCC staff perspective, that project is way into the future, and it is a county project as well. Right. Any other? Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your engagement, for listening, for being here on such a beautiful evening. And I look forward to engaging with you the months and days ahead for input into our strategic plan. So please stay tuned. I appreciate your time. And that's it for me.